Well, ladies and gentlemen, India's Election Commission is at the center of a political storm in West Bengal. Once again, this time, because what was supposed to be a formal meeting between the Trinamool Congress and the Election Commission of India has now exploded into a full-blown war of words, with two phrases at the heart of the controversy: get lost versus don't speak. The TMC claims that in just 7 minutes, Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar shut down their concerns and told them to quote-unquote get lost, a phrase now being projected as proof of institutional arrogance and political bias. According to Derek O'Brien, the meeting began at 10:02 in the morning and was over by 10:07 before he says the real issues could even be heard. TMC has claimed that the CEC shut them down in just about 7 minutes, asking them to get lost. The concerns were not even heard. The TMC delegation asked for this meeting to submit letters from West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to the CEC to flag specific instances of poll officials allegedly having links with the BJP. During the meeting, Derek O'Brien also claimed that one TMC leader sarcastically told the Chief Election Commissioner that he was, quote-unquote, the only CEC India against whom notices for removal have been moved in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Election Commission has offered a sharply different account and has hit back just as sharply. Minutes after the meeting, the Election Commission put up a rather unusual, sharp post on its official X handle saying ECI straight talk to Trinamool Congress, a direct address to Trinamool Congress. This time, the elections in West Bengal would surely be free, fair, fear-free, violence-free, intimidation-free, inducement-free, and without any raid, neither booth jamming, neither source jamming. This is what the Election Commission has put out in its post on social media, directly addressing TMC in it. It has been said that it was Derek O'Brien who was raising his voice, disrupting the meeting, and even telling the Chief Election Commissioner not to speak. This, of course, is the Election Commission's version, which has said that TMC has crossed the line. Election Commission has said Derek O'Brien raised his voice, disrupted the meeting. He shouted at the CEC to not speak, and TMC disrupted a constitutional proceeding with no disregard for a constitutional body. In other words, the EC says this was not a delegation seeking justice, but a political confrontation staged inside a constitutional office. Now, this is not happening in a vacuum. This clash comes at the most sensitive moment possible, with West Bengal heading into a high-stakes assembly election. The atmosphere is already toxic. The trust deficit is already deep, and now the referee itself stands accused. The parties are standing accused. At the heart of this showdown is the explosive battle over Bengal's voter list. The TMC has claimed that lakhs of names have been unfairly pushed out under the special intensive revision exercise, with accusations and counter-accusations and court cases. The Supreme Court stepped in to oversee this special intensive revision of voter lists in West Bengal. The Supreme Court ordered ECI verification and to ensure only legitimate deletions. It warned the TMC against interfering with the process while allowing a review of questionable deletions. TMC has claimed that 91 lakh voters, or 11.62% of the names, have been deleted, meaning that West Bengal's electorate has shrunk by 11.62% from 7.66 crore electors in October 2025 before the SIR to 6.75 crores now. A huge claim by West Bengal. The Election Commission, however, is not backing down. In fact, it has publicly doubled down with unmistakable warning to the TMC. And now comes the bigger political question. If TMC is alleging that Election Commission is behaving like an adversary, and if Election Commission is implying that TMC cannot be trusted to ensure a clean poll, what exactly is the Bengal polls about? More importantly, is the opposition ruled states and the ECI showdown getting uglier with each election, and which way do voters really go to? I'm being joined at this point by Saurav Chunder, who's a spokesperson with TMC, Radhika Bhattacharya, who's a spokesperson with BJP, as well as O.P. Rawat, who's a former election commissioner. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining me. Well, O.P. Rawat, straight to you first. What do you make out of this, O.P. Rawat? This is getting uglier and uglier and uglier by the day. What should voters really make out of this?
I think this puts every one of us in bad light, that we create these kind of scenes, these kind of bickerings, where everything should be looking very free, fair, and credible. This is unprecedented, I must say.
If it is unprecedented, Mr. O.P. Rawat, how should this be seen? I mean, every election seems to be unprecedented in itself. The manner in which the showdown seems to be building up between the opposition-ruled states, the opposition parties, as well as the centre, and of course now the Election Commission completely being dragged into the centre of it all. It's unprecedented, yes. But what must one make out of this? Because that's a direct question every voter seems to be asking.
It's fairly visible to everyone. What does this mean? Because taking a stance like this is never done by EC in the past. And same thing about the political parties. They do not respond so vehemently as TMC is responding. So both sides have something to blame for.
As a former election commissioner, O.P. Rawat, how would you look particularly at the Election Commission currently? I mean, I know there are certain boundaries that you would have to draw, but what would be the best way to really look at this?
There cannot be any different way. Whatever is visible in front of us, it is visible to everyone. And everyone would feel that both sides should have taken care of their boundaries and should have behaved properly.
I think that's coming from a former election commissioner. Those are very, very important words right out there. Radhika Bhattacharya, come in at this point. How will you respond to what O.P. Rawat is saying? Very, very, he's very controlled in what he's speaking, but he's not mincing his words.
Bengal has for years had this Gherao culture. I don't like something, I will lose etiquette, good manners, and go for it head first, and forget that I'm a political party, that I must maintain some sort of decorum when I'm dealing with constitutional bodies. Now, we know for sure that SIR is not a political thing. It's a constitutional cleansing of voter rolls. And SIR is routine. It's a legally mandated exercise under Article 324 and the Representation of People Act, and has been done multiple times historically. It's not new or it's let's say BJP specific. And the purpose, of course, is to remove duplicate entries. It is to remove dead voters. It is to remove migrated voters and also identify the non-citizens. So is asking for a clean voter list, not leading to clean democracy. But what does the opposition want? It just wants dirty rolls. And if I had to defend the Election Commission, I would say that Election Commission acted under constitutional authority. EC has full discretion to say revised rules, and it cannot be dictated by state governments. TMC has no role here. EC answers to the Constitution, not to Mamata Banerjee.
But it's not about Mamata Banerjee. It's about an elected chief minister. And the TMC is claiming that there have been 9 letters which have been written to the Election Commission, but no response to this. Of course, I would like to get Mr. O.P. Rawat's perspective on this as well, but we'll get to that. Very quickly at this point, Saurav Chunder, if that's really the grievance, that there's been no response to Mamata Banerjee's letter, what's this showdown that's really happening? What is this ugly banter? Why get in a conversation with the CEC? The whole angle about what's come up against the CEC, saying he's the first CEC to be facing what he has faced in the parliament, that's completely been rejected. Why bring that up, go to a man, ask for his appointment, and then bring that up? What kind of a democracy is that?
Ma'am, at the very outset, a very good evening to you and to all my fellow panelists. I would begin by quoting an age-old saying. As a student of the law myself, in judicial corridors, you will have an age-old saying that justice should not just be done, it has to be seen to be done. So it is very, very important for an institution like the Election Commission to maintain the utmost transparency, right? That transparency instills confidence in the average citizen of this country. Now, what has happened today is exceedingly unfortunate. This is unprecedented. Somebody of the stature of a former election commissioner who's also in this panel has made it abundantly clear that this is unprecedented. We must not forget that the first chief election commissioner was a man from Bengal, an illustrious gentleman by the name of Mr. Shukumar Sen. In this chair has been people like Mr. T.N. Session. That is the kind of benchmark.
No, see, here's the thing. You may have your aspersions and your concerns over the CEC and so on and so forth. We're talking about an election. You're talking about voter lists being deleted. What's your business to go and talk to an CEC, to the Election Commission in his office and talk about him being the first person, to have a process against him? Now, if that's your tone and tenor, how much democratic is that in the middle of the elections is what I'm asking you. Couldn't TMC just stick to elections?
Every action, ma'am, has an equal and opposite reaction, right? As long as these reactions are constitutionally bound, I don't see a problem. If the actions of the Election Commission reek of bias, and we can establish that with numbers and facts which are out there in the public domain. The first fact, ma'am, it is undisputed that the Honorable Chairperson of the All India Trinamool Congress, the 3-time elected Chief Minister of a particular state, put in that chair by the mandate of the people, Mamata Banerjee, she had written 9 letters. Not one reply. Can the EC show that they have replied and we have suppressed this fact? Number one. Number two, we, in today's delegation, 6 BJP-linked officers in Bengal, we have a problem with that. We have submitted documented evidence. We have been met with a response, get lost. All right. And what have we asked for? For the sake of transparency, we have said, release the security footage with the audio, put it out before the people. Let the people judge. We are not saying that you believe us, you take our word. We are not saying that. We are saying that the EC should release the CCTV footage for everybody to see. In Hindi and Bangla, you have a saying that "Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani." It will be as clear as day if they release the footage. And just one question. Do you really think that this SIR exercise has been a routine one?
It doesn't matter what I think.
Lakhs.
It doesn't matter what I think. It's sub judice. It's also something that parties have gone to court. This is also something that the Supreme Court has spoken about. There are constitutional bodies to really think about.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
No, just a minute. You've made a point. Let me just go to Radhika Bhattacharya at this point. Radhika Bhattacharya, TMC again and again claiming the beneficiary of the SIR process is directly and solely BJP.
I'll once again say that EC is constitutional. It's not political. And the Election Commission answers to the Constitution, not Mamata Banerjee, as I said earlier. And of course, their argument is that there has, that certain names that are alleged have been overlooked. Now, I would say that, 700 plus officers reviewed the cases and legal process was followed. This is India's most legally scrutinized voter revision. And to those who say that names got deleted, I would say that appeals are open. No one is finally removed. People can appeal. Voters have been restored after proof, and genuine voters are getting back. System is working. And TMC comes out with all sorts of allegations. But where is the proof? Allegations are loud, but the evidences sometimes are actually a zilch or zero. So who has been actually removed? That is the most question. High deletions happened in the border areas, district of Malda and Murshidabad and 24 Parganas. Why is it that maximum deletions came from these border places? Because if fake voters existed whose names have been removed today, then who created them in the first place? And also, deletion also equals verification. It doesn't mean discrimination. Remember, we must remember this, and we must rejoice in the fact that we are trying to bring in a system where duplicates are removed, where deaths are known.
That's exactly what TMC is claiming it is not. Opi Rawat, give me a few minutes more. Let me just very quickly go across at this point to Saurav Chunder again. Very quick response to what you're hearing from Ms. Radhika.
Can I just finish? Every name that has been removed has a reason. It's not based on religion or a political tag.
Saurav Chunder? EC has come out very directly. EC has come out with the names, with the details. Appeals are out in the open. Everybody can go and appeal. What really is the problem at this point? EC is saying everybody who has been removed from the voter list, from the rolls, is somebody who has not been able to prove their identity or give the requisite papers, and the appeals are open.
Ma'am, do we agree that we all believe in the Constitution? I'm sure the answer is going to be yes. Number two, do we agree that the right to vote is a constitutional right? The answer should be yes. Do we agree that the representation of the People's Act as a statute does not have the domain of verification of citizenship? The answer once again is yes. Does the EC have the right to verify citizenship? Does it have the right to disenfranchise so many people? And the allegation that why is it that the deletions in the border states are so high? So there is an aspersion which is being cast that there is massive infiltration happening through the border. Let us again go back to the Constitution of India. The border security and international affairs, who does it fall under? Is it a state subject or a union subject? The answer is clearly that it is a union subject. If you take the Land Acquisition Act, the center has sweeping powers to ask for land, get the fencing done, even if the state refuses, not once, not twice.
Okay.
If that is done, if the state refuses twice, the
okay, let me get in Opi Rawat at this point. Opi Rawat, two questions that I want to ask you, and I want to talk to you from the perspective of how people in Bengal, how people in other states where they are going to be voting should be really approaching this at this point. One, the public spat that seems to have happened with the way Election Commission has taken on TMC quite publicly. What does that really come down to? Should that be seen as something which is just turned ugly but is one-off, because TMC has got on to that, saying that this is nothing but political colors being shown?
Our electorate has become quite mature, and they can easily make out as to who is doing what. We don't have to really guess.
I think you're using less words, but you're saying it very clear. Opi Rawat, one more question that I do want to ask you at this point. SIR, something that BJP has been claiming, has been a process that's been happened in the past as well. Why is it become so mired in controversy this time?
Because of the timing, because elections were around the corner and timing was not appropriate for SIR. Second thing, you are entitled to do SIR under the laws and under the Constitution, but it doesn't entitle you to create such a mess that even judicial adjudication, judicial appeal, all these processes which have never come into electoral roll management have
Right.
gotten. So we have got such high stakes at this stage that if something goes wrong and reveal that something has been done wrongly, even the reputation of our highest court will be under lens.
Exactly.
I think we'll just leave it at this. The former Election Commissioner of India speaking very clearly. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for talking to us. O.P. Rawat, I think people are listening to what you are saying, and it makes a whole lot of sense when a former election commissioner like you comes out, chooses to use the words very cautiously. Saurabh Chunder as well as Radhika Bhattacharya, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, it's time for a very short break. On the other side, the discourse around superstition, discrimination, sati. The discourse around Sabrimala and how it's going to impact religions beyond Hinduism.